Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with the Simpler Stocks free video for March 8th, 2016. Getting this out about an hour before the close. I've had some death in the family and I need to pick up my wife from the airport. So sorry this is an hour early, but I figure it's better than 4 hours late, so you can jump right into it. Just so you know, what the market did today was the big old rotation that you had. The ES is only down 325 for now. NASDAQ down 45 and the Russell up 560. What you're getting in here is the big old stock buyback thing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I actually redid the video so you know what I'm talking about. Here's the ES's on a daily chart, right at resistance. Here's the NASDAQ falling apart today. Why do I think that's happening? Because a bigger proponent of the ES's have buybacks. So the ES's are right at resistance. NASDAQ woefully underperforming. Actually, two things. Buybacks, commodity-related stocks are more in the S&P 500. Let me show you an amazing graphic that I did over the weekend. This is what I've been talking about on Simpler Stocks on the premium side for months, is the effect of buybacks on the overall market. Is companies cannot buy back their stock within 5 weeks of their earnings or 2 days after. 20% of the average volume on the New York right now daily is buybacks. It's horrifying that that's what it is. So that's why 5 weeks, 2 days after the bigger stocks report their earnings, they can start buying back their stock. When do you think that was? Yep, you guessed it, right in this area. So let me show you an amazing graphic I have in here that I made. Basically what this is, and let me take it on here so you can see it better. And get it up here so you can get it full effect. Is what this is showing that every time that stock buyback stopped, the market stopped going up. Now the whole idea, you don't have to think there's a crash or whatever in here. All you have to realize is a huge rally like you got back here. So let me show you. So I'm going to take off all the highlights so you can see it a little better. See these massive rallies here? Massive rally there, massive rally here. They all started when buybacks could resume. Not one of these rallies started when they couldn't buy back their stock. That's how important these buybacks are. And these are the type of things we discuss on the Simpler Stocks premium chat before the opening. Like, we have a chat room where we can talk for we talk for an hour where people can ask me questions. It's an open chat. I basically go over things for like an hour and answer questions within it. And I go over my ideas. Now, this one worked great. And let me just show you. We put in here and I built a market watch of the biggest stock buybacks. There is an ETF called the PKW. What the PKW is the PowerShare Buyback Achievers Fund. Why do I mention that? Because the components in it are companies that have bought back at least 5% of their stock within the last 12 months. So let me just show you what this is in here so you have an idea what I'm talking about. This is the PowerShares Buyback Achievers portfolio. These are the type of things we discuss in the chat and that I share. So look at the portfolio in here. And what I do in here is I go down here and I go to view all top holdings. And I don't group it by sector. I group by just the percentage of the fund. See all these? Boeing, McDonald's, Qualcomm, Mondelez, AIG, Lowe's. Well, what I did then is I took these, and then what I do on here is I build a watch list. And in this watch list, I put in buybacks for March 7th. And this is what I share with the room. All these buybacks here, these are the companies that I'm going to be watching, that every time there's a massive sell-off and it's still not the quiet period, these are the stocks that will probably outperform. So those are the type of things we do in there. Just so you know, the way I look at the overall market, and I want to get to this so you know what I'm talking about in here, is the ESs in here are right at resistance. The NASDAQ, like we showed on the Simpler Stocks premium chat this morning, had this ledge trade. And you didn't know whether this was going to be a ledge and a bearish breakdown or whether this was going to be a bull flag and the NASDAQ finally would catch up with the ESs. Like you see in here, they usually move in unison. And the idea is the ESs are up a resistance while the NASDAQ isn't anywhere close. So the whole idea in here is to take the component stocks and see how they're going to act on the opening. So what you can see in here is on this 78-minute chart, you weren't sure which way it went. And I was explaining this before the opening on how to gauge it. Go to the stocks that are the biggest components that move the NASDAQ the most. Like you know in here, here's one of them, Google. Google had this wedge and it broke under it today. Even go to a 15-minute and you could get the grasp of what I'm talking about. The second it broke under it today, you knew the NASDAQ was going to go down. You're like, well, not just Google. Is that the only one that went down? No. Look at Facebook. Look at Amazon. Look at Netflix. Even the mighty Apple fell today. The whole idea is if they're falling, this is not going to break up, at least not today. Now, the key on here now is this. If the ESs are up a resistance, and let me take off the future so you know what I'm talking about. If the ESs are up a resistance, and the NQs go to a point of no return in here, then the ESs are going to sell off. Now, what do I mean by that? Go to a 195 chart and zoom out. And what I want you to see on here is look where the NASDAQ was on February 29th, 4,200. It's pretty close to it now. Let's say it gets down to this 99 EMA. Now, what I want you to see on the left is the ESs aren't even close to breaking the RTR trailing stop or anything. They're not even close to that 99 EMA. There's a point of no return that if the NASDAQ does get down to this level, then you would expect the ESs finally to fall apart. So those are the type of things I'm watching very closely this week to see if that happens. Now, one thing I wanted to mention in here is, you know, we have a $7 30-day trial for that includes the simpler stock. It includes the chat. It includes the forum, which includes charts at night and in the morning that I post. It includes many things in here, including usually once a week, we have like a 15-minute class of, I go over indicators or bull flags or bear flags. We go over all kinds of things like this. So, you know, that's one thing you get. We've had thousands of people sign up for the trial, and our retention rate is one of the highest in the industry. It's been great. So just so you know, another thing I want you to know is my boss, John Carter, has a free webinar coming up tomorrow. And I want to show you this on here. Basically talking about just how he kicks butt in his favorite strategies. Like you see on here, it's a free webinar on March 8th at 7 p.m. Central. So if you get a chance, try to sign up for this. You'll see it. It's under simpler options. And you could go on there and they'll show you where the free webinars are. And his stuff really is helpful. If you have a chance, just jump on it. I think it'll benefit you greatly. So everybody take care. I will talk to you tomorrow.